So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Dalles Community Affairs. Today is May 14th already. My goodness gracious. Welcome our guest this morning, Eileen White from the Dalles Farmers Market. And before we get started, I'm going to go around the table, ask for organizational updates. I will start with Roger, then we'll go to Trish, and then Corliss. So, Roger, take it away, sir. Roger, you are muted.
Yep, there we go.
There you
Okay,
go.
thank you. Original Wasco County Courthouse and the Discovery Center board. And I have just posted on the chat a master list of all the original courthouse history forums for the last 50 years that are available. I spent years digitizing them all from cassettes and reel to reel. And if you want to stop by the courthouse and to order some of those, they're anywhere from $5 a piece to $1 a piece if you buy a whole bunch of them. So, a fascinating chance to hear some people who are no longer with us, including recordings that were made in 1975 with somebody born in 1875. So, 100-year-old person, fantastic memory. So, check it out and thank you.
That is totally cool. Thank you, Roger. And I see it there. That's great. Trish, what's
Good
going on?
morning. Trish Neal, Legal Shield. Long-time chamber member, and I still have feet in the Dalles. I'm with the original Wasco County Courthouse. And Roger, I'll post that on the website and the Facebook page. And I'll put my contact information in chat.
Thank you, Trish. And please, I invite everybody to do the same. Put your contact information in the chat box. Corliss, updates, and then we'll take it to Mike Wacker.
Okay, Corliss Marsh. Good morning, everyone. No new updates, but I'm with Habitat for Humanity in the library, the senior center, and the college foundation. So,
All right.
good to see everyone.
Thank you, Corliss. You too. Mike, and then Leslie.
Good morning, everybody. I'm with Wasco County, the Dalles, Wasco County Kiwanis Club and Fort Dalles Museum. Today at the Kiwanis Club, it's actually going to be Ms. Harwood, she's the musical instructor at Colonel Wright School, and she's going to bring her marimba band. So if you want to hear some fun music, get a good lunch at Spooky's. She usually gets there probably about 10 or a quarter after 12. But it's really fun music. You know, the kids only play for about 15 minutes, but it's pretty cool. And she goes to the senior center. She goes, I think, to the Springs, maybe. I can't remember. Anyhow, for 2 days, she takes the kids around playing. So, and the update on, well, it's not an update, but on June 14th is going to be Flag Day at Fort Dalles Museum, and I will keep mentioning that every week. So everyone have a good day. Thanks.
Ramona this is her last year. She's retiring. So if you have a chance, see her marimba band. They'll be at the senior center also at 11:30 today before Kiwanis. So
Thanks,
check it out because, yeah.
They've got a busy schedule. Thank you both. It's good to know. Leslie, and then Julie.
Morning, everyone. I'm Leslie Naramore, the Executive Director of Mid-Columbia Community Action Council, which is the community action agency that serves all of Hood River, Wasco, and Sherman counties. It is Community Action Awareness Month, and we have a press release out right now highlighting MCAC and WAGAP and OHDC, which are the three community action agencies that serve the Gorge region. And so if you're interested, you can find that article. It should be in Columbia Gorge News, and it's also on our website, and it shares a little bit about the history of community action. And then I also wanted to share that this weekend there's a veterans stand down event happening, and we'll have some of our SSVF team members there. So that's this Saturday from 11 to 1 at Lewis and Clark Park. And that will be resources that are available for veterans and their families. Thanks.
Leslie, let's be sure to put details in that chat box if you have anything additional to drop in there.
Will do.
Thank you very much. Julie, and then Commissioner Brady.
Oops. I'm Julie Reynolds. I'm part of the Planning Committee for Historic St. Paul's the Dalles Chapel and Fort Dalles Museum. And I forgot to report last week because I was so mesmerized by Chris Grant's presentation. It was pretty good. That the Old Wasco County Pioneers Association had its annual meeting on the first Saturday of May, as it always does. I've looked back at old programs and it's getting smaller and smaller each year, of course, but we're trying to get new members who are interested in history. It's open to anyone. And we're trying to replace those old heavy picture boards that are pasted on kind of plywood sheets and hard to move around with some pull-up banners and then invite people to put their family stories on there, trying to drum up some interest. And the reason I'm reporting this is because Sam Woolsey convinced me to become the second vice president, so I'm working my way up.
Julie, a question on the photo boards. Aren't those digitized at the Discovery Center?
Each photo, Susan Buse has done that, each photo, but they are the originals, which are sometimes just mimeographed or cut out of the newspaper. They're not necessarily actual photographs. They're glued to those boards, and we're not able to remove them. So they could be transferred digitally onto these pull-up banners.
Okay. Good idea. Good.
Thanks.
Thank you, Julie. Keep the city grant project in mind for that if there's funding needed. Yeah. Commissioner Brady.
Good morning, Phil Brady, Wasco County Commissioner, running for office. I was canvassing yesterday, and I turned on Strava, and I ended up with quite a map of squiggles all across the city from Union Street all the way over to Dry Hollow and back. It was fun to see. And titled my Strava entry, "Running for Office." Looking ahead, yeah, we had Chris Grant last week talking about Firewise, and just a reminder, as he said, where fire ban is in effect in all of Wasco County. And looking ahead, a reminder also, he mentioned the Firewise movie night on next Thursday, the 21st, at the Granada Theater. And then looking at my calendar, one other interesting event coming up on Saturday, the 23rd at the Discovery Center is Wildflowers Show. An explanation.
All good to know. Thank you, Phil. To turn it over to Scott and then Jacob, and then I think that Salvador is joining us also shortly here from the Housing Authority. Scott, go ahead, sir.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Scott McKay, volunteer for the Dalles Circles of Care and the convener for the Dementia Friendly Wasco County Partnership. Only thing I can say is I can share what I get in the mail, but I think people don't want to forget the Dalles Arts Center's auction fundraiser that's coming on June 13th, 6:30 p.m. at the Neon Sign Museum. Should be a fun. The theme is a hot Havana night. So bring your cigars and no, I don't. Anyway, so it says tickets are limited, which means I better get my tickets pretty soon. So they're $50 a piece and help support the Dalles Arts Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. My son-in-law is Puerto Rican, and I've got some Puerto Rican cigars. I'm going to keep that in mind. While I'm thinking about it, thank you for your column in the newspaper. Always fascinating.
Good morning, everyone. This is Jacob Anderson, Economic Development Officer for the City of the Dalles. We have an Urban Renewal Board meeting coming up this next Tuesday. We'll be adopting the budget for fiscal year 26-27. And I'm asking the board to extend the exterior pilot refresh program, which is 100% reimbursable grants for businesses and building owners downtown to refresh their facade. And I've already just about run out of money from the first grant. So I'm asking the board to spend a little bit, about $50,000 more dollars for this year so that we can keep it going. So
I hope they support you on that. It's a good program.
Yeah.
Any updates on Federal or First Street?
You'll see the fence came up on Federal Street yesterday. They're mobilizing in and they're going to start working on that. The First Street project, the contractors have kind of pulled off right now to go work on other projects while we figure out if we have to replace this sewer, this old sewer main line that's like 19 feet down and it's going to be really expensive. So the contractor has engineers trying to figure out if we have to replace that or if it's a want or a need. And then we also found a tank in the ground over by Laughlin. And so I'm working through the Brownfields program to get that pulled so that they can get in and keep working there. So it's moving along just slower than we'd hoped.
Always complications. All right. Thank you, Jake. Keep up the good work. Salvador. Salvador, are you on? There you go. You're coming in.
I think it's my camera. There we go.
There you are. Okay.
Sorry, I'm a little sick, so it was just
Oh, I'm sorry, Salvador.
no, Zach, it's okay. Um, Columbia Cascade Housing, I'm a housing counseling resource head counselor. Currently right now still working on the home repair program for Washington, Oregon. Still moving along with the community land trust in Carson. Mariposa Village seems to be on track. We're going to be starting building of construction for the CLT, I believe, starting in September. So if you guys know of anybody, even in Oregon, that is interested in wanting to purchase one of those homes, it is best that they contact us now to start the process, to be able to get onto the wait list to be able to purchase the first homes that we build.
Go ahead and put your contact information for that, Salvador, in the chat. How about Chenoweth?
Besides, no, those are different.
Okay.
The one in Chenoweth Loop, I believe, is going to be apartments.
Okay. Is that one still making progress?
We're currently getting funding for that one to get it up and going.
Okay. All right.
Mariposa Village was technically the one that we were more focused on because it was a bigger lot size apartments. I believe it was 139. This one's about to be 177, I think, or 76, or somewhere over there.
Well, if you need letters of support on funding applications, keep this group in mind.
Yes, 100%. And then besides that, there's not really much else that we got going on. We have still veteran down payment assistance. It got extended to the month of August. So if anybody is interested that you know that is a veteran, they're more than welcome to reach out to us. We got extended a month before the deadline ends, and so it's a great opportunity for somebody to be able to purchase a home.
Okay, good to know. Did you get anything in the paper about that, Salvador? Columbia Gorge News?
Yeah, we have a paper at news ads, everything. We just haven't had a lot of turnaround, unfortunately.
Yeah, all right. Well, you take care and get better, sir.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Good morning. Right, with that, I think I've got all the bases covered here, and let's turn it over to Eileen White with the Dalles Farmers Market. And Eileen, you sent me a couple of flyers earlier, and I've got those in the chat box.
All right. Okay. And first off, I got a new computer, and in order to be on the screen with more than the top of my head, I have to sit on two pillows. So if I look a little wobbly, it's because I'm on my tippy toes as well. So, and I've also turned off my self view, so I'm not so self-conscious. So if I start drifting off or something, let me know. So as Dan said, I'm Eileen White. I'm the market manager for the Dalles Farmers Market. We start up this year on June 6th. We always start the first Saturday in June and go through the second Saturday of October, which this year is October 10th. So this year we're going from 6/6 to 10/10. That makes it a little easier for some folks to remember. We're in City Park, which is a fabulous location. Last year, we had an average of 849 shoppers each week. That's a little down from the year before, and we've never quite gotten back up to our pre-COVID numbers. But other organizations I've spoken with, and Lisa from the chamber, said that almost everybody's seeing numbers go down. There are more things that people are doing, and that. So we still think that's almost 1,000 people, and that's an improvement from when I started my first market. I will always remember we had 335 people or 353 people, and we thought that was pretty good. So we're pleased. I'm very pleased with that. The Dalles Farmers Market has a significant impact on the economy of the gorge and our community here in the Dalles. Last year, our vendor booths, not counting what we took in as the manager's booth or any fundraising that nonprofits did, they made over $278,000 from our vendors last year. And my husband always liked me to point out that that's 1 day a week for 19 weeks in only 4 hours. So that's a lot of commerce going on in one place. And all that money stays in the community. When someone shops at a farmer's market, $100, 62 of that stays in the community, 99 stays in the state. If you spend that same $100 at a supermarket, only 25 stays in our community. So that's really a huge impact. Also, when you buy directly from farmers, they keep 72% more than when they have a middle person. I still want to say middleman, but I'm sure all of you can relate. Last year, one of the significant things is I called it we turned the corner. And that was because for the first time, we had more than 40 booths at a time. And we did that several times. And in order to accommodate that, I had to create a new row on the west end of the park. So we were training customers to go that direction. I know a lot of you know human nature and how sometimes it's hard to train people. I'll share a quick little thing that we found amusing. During COVID, we had to go in the one direction, so we were going counterclockwise in the park. And then after those restrictions were lifted and we started spreading people out, there were people, actually a huge number of people, that even though there were no vendors, they still went counterclockwise around the park. So we hope to continue having that extra row. So if you are at the shopping at the farmer's market, we'd appreciate it if you'd help train the crowd and go down our new row. Not counting sponsors or food demonstrations activity, nonprofits that had booths. Last year we had 55 unique vendors at the market. Of those, 26 were new. 2 were vendors that had vended previously before but came back in a new form. For instance, they used to be a crafter and now they were a baker. And we also had a youth vendor for the first time in a while, which is a 7-year-old girl that made earrings that she actually is quite good. We like to support our youth. I'll mention here one of the things we do for youth vendors for 12 and under. If they want to have a booth, they need to follow our guidelines. And we waive the membership fee and they just pay the booth fee each month. We also expanded our Friends of the Market program. One of our board members, Deborah Lucci, who is also a sponsor with her business, Avalon Biosage, stepped up and made sure that we could man our Friends of the Market booth. And our Friends of the Market program is similar to, like at OPB, where you join. It's a way for individuals that might not have a business to be a sponsor to join, and we have different gifts and different perks at different levels. And we are a 501c3, so we do give tax forms at the end of the year, and it's a good cause. So far this season, we've had 45 vendors sign up already. I know there are vendors that keep telling me they're going to sign up, so we're going to have even more. Of those 45 who've signed up already, 10 are new. And we have a couple vendors returning after an absence, and one of those is returning in a new form, having a different product. Among those new vendors, we have new farmers, new bakers. We even have a new flower vendor. Our old flower vendor, Chia, that's quite popular, is coming back. His bouquets tend to be very large with the dahlias, kind of, I say dahlia centric. This new flower vendor is going to be more snapdragon centric, that she grows large snapdragons. So there'll be some choices among flowers, and we know we have the bandwidth to support more than one flower vendor. Another vendor that I'm very excited that is coming is a hummus vendor. They have about 13 types of hummus, tzatziki, tabbouleh, pita chips, domas. They sell pita bread as well. So I think that's going to be a really great addition to the market. Our hot Filipino vendor is coming back, but in my opinion, I think the hummus is going to give another option for people that want to sit there and have their lunch or their breakfast at the park and listen to the music during the market time. I also have some people that are interested with food, but they've not signed on yet, so I'm not going to jinx it by talking about any of that. No, but just keep an eye on. We're going to be adding new vendors before we start on June 6th. We are going to continue with our opportunity to allow nonprofits to have a booth one time at no charge. We will provide a tent and table if that nonprofit needs that. I know Scott has come the last few years with Circle of Care, but any nonprofits can come one time. And then what we do is we have them fill out a vendor form, and then that way they are in our system. So even after they vended, their information is available through their profile on our website, so people can find folks afterwards. And all our vendors have a profile on our website. If you're ever looking for a vendor, even in the off season, we leave them up there until I start, signing up vendors for the new season. You can click, get their information, email address, telephone number, etc. And we've continued to receive grants to support a lot of our programs. One of our very popular programs is the Power of Produce program for kids, where kids between the ages of 4 and 16, each week they come, they get a $2 token that is good to spend on fresh fruits and vegetables in the market, help promote healthy eating. One of the things that we do at our market, the Power of Produce program is actually a program that was created at the Oregon City Farmers Market, and it has spread nationwide. We allow a little more purchases with our youth because we want to kind of educate them. They're also allowed to buy nuts. We also allow them to buy like dried fruit if it has not been had any salt or sugar or anything added. And I've heard from a lot of parents that, especially older kids, get like, oh, this is fruit, but it's better than a candy bar, but it tastes like candy because it's dried apricots and that sort of thing. And so kids learn, like, oh, I can freeze my strawberries and they still taste really good. It's as good as a popsicle. And I would say, especially if you get a berry at a farmer's market, it's a lot more full of flavor than one might get at a supermarket. We also, a lot of folks don't know, people can run their Oregon Trail Card, SNAP Card, EBT, used to be known as food stamps, at our manager's booth. We give folks a $1 token that is good for any SNAP eligible purchase in the market. just like at a grocery store. Then we have some grants where we can match the first $10 to get additional tokens to use for any SNAP eligible purchase. And then there's also a program called Double Up Food Bucks that we participate in, where the first $20 folks running their Oregon Trail card can get vouchers that are worth $20 in their individual $2 cards to spend on fruits and vegetables in the market. So what happens is they can turn that $20 swipe on their card into $50 to spend with our local farmers and businesses and that. And as I point out, that keeps a lot of money in the community, and we have folks eating more healthy, enjoying the market and that. So that combined with the Power of Produce program is very good for a lot of our families in the community here. We also, many of our vendors are signed up through what's called the FDMP, which are vouchers that a lot of senior citizens get and WIC mothers get that are good on produce in the market. I'll just quickly tell some statistics I learned last year about SNAP users. A lot of people are unaware that the largest group of people using SNAP benefits are veterans. The average person only receives $5 a day. And I do know we have folks that come by and they get maybe $21 a month, so that being able to spend it here in the community is important to a lot of people. And then being able to increase those dollars is very good. And most people that are on SNAP are on it for only about 6 to 10 months. So we're helping a lot of people move through a gap. We're also in the next couple years expecting a lot more people in rural communities to be receiving SNAP benefits, which is a little worrisome as some of those dollars that fund those programs are going down. The farmers market is always looking for new vendors. The barrier to join is much lower than a lot of people think. If you know somebody that has more zucchinis than friends, we are happy to have somebody who can come one time. If you know maybe somebody who's retired and needs something to do, send them our way. We can use them as volunteers or perhaps a vendor. To volunteer doesn't take a lot of time. We have some people that volunteer one time during the year, some people that volunteer regularly. And it's not all physical labor. A lot of people have that thought that it's a lot of physical labor. Sometimes we just need someone to sit there and count how many people are walking through the door. We also are continuing with our sponsor program for businesses. Our sponsor dollars, just like a lot of other funding, is down this year. So if you know of any businesses that would like to be a sponsor, we have a great program. Dan said he put the link to that in the chat. We have a program, that start off at a low level, and then depending on the level, businesses can come and have a booth at the market and speak one-on-one with folks. Our shoppers love to support people that support the market. And one thing I like to say about when our sponsors and our nonprofits come to the market, folks that are there, they're more relaxed, their pores are open. Most people that shop at a farmer's market want to learn about the food, so they're kind of in that learning mode. So when they stop at a sponsor booth or a nonprofit booth, a lot of it's like, I meant to check on that. And so they're there to really get that information. I also think that people come home with produce or their baked goods, or maybe this year their hummus. They're remembering what happened earlier that day. So it's kind of a little more bang for your buck. We're also always looking for kids activities. So if you know anybody that would like to work with kids, we're always looking for folks to do that. And this year we're also going to have some positions on our board open up, and we're looking for diverse people in the community to join. Our board members find it very rewarding. I am about done, but I'll end with a couple statistics I didn't manage to sprinkle in. Um, if just 20% of the produce and the meat that we here in the gorge bought, if we bought it from local farmers, we would keep $9.6 million in our local economy. 98% of the food that we eat here in the gorge is shipped in from other places. That makes us vulnerable. We all know, like, when I-84 is closed for snow, how quickly the shelves at the grocery stores shrink up. We saw a lot of that during COVID. So it's another reason to support our local farmers and producers. Also, our products are fresher. The average piece of produce travels 1,500 miles and 7 days before it even reaches the grocery store. That doesn't count being in the back room, getting on the shelf, and before they mark it for markdown or whatever, or often just toss it away. So what you buy, you save money because things are fresher. Because oftentimes they were just picked within 24 hours of when you purchase them. It's also, the farmers market is a meeting gathering place. It's more than just a place to shop. When someone shops at a farmer's market, they have an average of 10 interactions with people. At a supermarket, it's an average of 3. So that's especially helpful for our emotional and mental health, especially our elderly population, to get that interaction. And I know I see a lot of familiar faces, people running into people at the market they haven't seen in a long time, or they just saw the other day and they still forgot to mention like 8 things, and talking in front of the lettuce vendor or whatever. And probably, besides less packaging, it's better for the environment and all that. When you buy a tomato at a farmer's market, it tastes like a tomato, and everybody deserves that joy. So that's all I have, unless I think of something. But my favorite part is getting questions from folks when I do these talks.
First off, Eileen, thank you for reminding me about the attachments. I had put them in even before the meeting started, but I forgot to hit the little caret that said load them. So I just hit the caret, and they should be in there now. No pun intended on carrot. We have questions for Eileen this morning. I've got a few, but folks, let's take it away. Well, I'll start with one then. Eileen, you mentioned funding, and in this day and age of federal funding cuts, while we support the billionaires, what effect are you seeing? Do you have have you heard anything about potential over this coming year?
Well, we directly, the Dalles Farmers Market does not get any federal funding, but we do get funding from other folks that do. So those dollars are kind of shrunk. We've lost one of our longtime major sponsors this year because they just don't have the funds, and some smaller, they don't have that, which, I have to say, and I'm sure everybody here knows that, just folks were like, oh, I thought they'd be for sure. But we understand because we know what it's like. Our farmers have also been really hit with some of the economic changes, tariffs, and that sort of thing. And it's such a trickle down effect. A lot of our vendors do come from the Golden Dale area. I was at the Home and Garden Show in Golden Dale on Mother's Day, just kind of as a PR thing. And one of our very popular new vendors last year, Dragon Star Farms, aka the Alpaca Poop Lady, she really wants to come and do the market, but she's way up in Golden Dale, and she's trying to figure out, she can't bring a small setup. So I was chatting with her, trying to brainstorm on how we might make it easier for her. But I think that's going to be an issue with a lot of farmers, and it's all trickle down. So
Is there a farmer's market in Goldendale?
there is. They are smaller, and they had some issues a while back. They're coming back. I actually got to meet the new farmers market manager in Goldendale. But yeah, they do have one, but it's not as large as ours. The Chamber of Commerce, I believe, took it over to keep it going up there.
Okay, okay. Phil, you have your hand raised.
Remind me, I think there are some farmers markets in South County in Tide Valley. Is that correct?
Yeah, as far as yeah, the folks that started that started it with grants, and during the pandemic, they actually kind of did a practice run with us as South County farmers, specialty farmers, or I forget exactly what their title was, but they kind of came as a group. But as far as I know, they're still going. I don't know what their schedule is, though.
There's one farmer who has it's not highly advertised, it's just a commercial like a freezer locker, and you go in and there's really nice produce in there, and it's all on the honor system. You pay by Venmo.
Oh, huh.
It's kind of there by where the carnival establishment is, just before you get to that. It's on the north side of the road. You have to kind of back in.
Eileen, I do have that raises one of my questions. How do people pay at the farmers market vendors? Is it cash only? You mentioned some of the
No,
go ahead.
yeah. All our vendors are required to take cash. Most of our vendors do take credit and debit cards. Some do Venmo and Zelle or something like that. For our vendors that don't take credit cards or debit cards, or if they're having problem with their point of sale device, at the farmers market booth, folks can run their credit or debit card, and we issue $5 tokens that are just like cash. We even have some folks that they like to put themselves on a budget or something, so they come and run their card, and then that's what they spend around at the vendors. So yeah, we always make sure everybody can get their money to our vendors as easily as possible.
That's good to know. I was talking with one of the younger members of city staff about a year ago, and he said he never carries cash. Apparently, some of these kids, I think they're going to regret that someday. But that's good to know.
Yeah, well, it's not only the young folks. I'm kind of guilty of that, of not having a lot of cash anymore. So yeah.
All right. You answered one of my questions that people can simply show up for a day. This is not a commitment for a vendor to go through the entire season.
That's correct. Yeah. When someone fills out their vendor application, they can pick the days. And sometimes people think, oh, well, I just can't come every day, or am I going to get penalized? We've grown a lot. When I first started, we had about 10 vendors total. But I'm a girl that can't say no. If somebody can come, I try to get them in as long as, they meet the requirements. Last year we had a gentleman from over in Lisle that called me on Wednesday and said, I just have the best plums in the world and my tree is overloaded. Someone told me I should check with the farmer's market, and he was quite a character. And his name was Victor the Inflictor when I told him he had to have a farm name, and he just came out and sold the best plums in the world for a day, had a great time. At the end, when I was telling him about how we'd reimburse him for his Power of Produce programs, because the kids love plums, he was like, I don't care. I had such a good time. I don't even care if I get any more money. So, we encourage that. We also is for farmers because we're very passionate about keeping it a farmer's market. One of the big compliments I always get is it's so nice to come to a farmer's market where there's more food than macrame or whatever. We have a ratio in our rules for every 4 crafters, we have to have 6 agricultural vendors. That said, I've never needed to turn away a crafter in the time that I've been doing that, but because we want to incentivize farmers, at my discretion, if we have a farmer that wants to come, we allow them to come 2 times. They do not have to pay the membership fee up front, but then they pay the booth fee for those 2 times. If they choose to come a third time or more, then they would need to become a member with the membership fee. And I might mention this now. Our fees are actually quite a bit lower than a lot of farmers market. We did raise them this year because we need funding. So our booth's fee each week is now $27. That's for vendors, nonprofits can come one time for free, and our membership fee is $45 where it used to be $40.
We should note the location just in case. City
Oh,
Park.
sure.
City
I
Park.
forgot that. Yes. We are located in City Park, aka end of the Oregon Trail, 5th and Union. Plenty of parking in the lot across the street. If you know somebody elderly that's worried about being able to, or whatever, carrying their produce or whatever back to their car, we always have volunteers to help folks with that.
All right. I've got a couple more questions, but I want to defer to the group. Come on, people. Julie, take it away.
Eileen, when you write grants money, who do you approach for a farmer's market?
Well, we get notices about grants, and so, some of them are the same. Last year, for the first time, our old assistant manager, Lynn, had experience from her when she had a career of writing grants. This year we have, or last year we hired a grant writer who has done some looking for new grants. But if anybody hears of grants that we should apply for, we certainly would appreciate it. Sometimes one of the things as a farmer's market we found is sometimes we don't qualify because a lot of grants go for physical things, and we don't have a building where we need to put in shelves and things like that. We're in a park, and a lot of grants don't supplement paying people buying non-fixed equipment. So that's just interesting. I knew nothing about grants before I started this job. So
One quick question beyond. Do your regular vendors who come back year after year, do they expect to be in the same location? And can you do that?
I do my best to keep people, the market will wax and wane. And then certain vendors I do like to keep, Zion Lettuce has been in the same place for a long time. When I do the market placement, I try not to have 2 lettuce people next to each other, 2 candle people next to each other. Have to take in sometimes people's products. For instance, cheese can't have direct sunlight and, that kind of thing. You don't want somebody, bread next to somebody that has very fragrant perfumes. And twice I've had people that are allergic to products, so I couldn't put those people next to each other. I try to do that. But yeah, Sandoz has been in the same place for a long time. But sometimes we explore with vendors, we put them in a place and they say, you know what, I think, for our products, we'd love to be over there. So, it's kind of a dance of figuring out location, satisfying personalities, our shoppers, products, etc.
Right. Thank you, Julie. Eileen, Roger, you have a question.
Yeah, I just want to. This is a shameless plug here because Eileen gave an amazing interview, and she will be the lead story, the farmers market, in the Ruralite edition that comes out on June 1st. So,
Fantastic.
Yeah, well,
Very good. Very
he's a
good.
good interviewer, so that helps. So,
He is indeed. He is indeed. I would say he's the best. Eileen, relationship with Gorge Grown. How does that work?
um, Gorge Grown is a fabulous organization. They're quite a bit larger than us. They have full-time staff. Um, I'm not technically an employee of the farmers market, nor is our assistant market manager or market associate. I'm an independent contractor, so I get a stipend. It's really, my joke is it's a volunteer that I get a little bit of money for. Um, Gorge Grown does have paid staff. They also run some farmers markets, but we have a very good relationship with them. They will send us vendors, let us know about things. Hannah, their market manager, and I have appeared on some panels together. We both belong to Oregon Farmers Market Association, which does a lot of education, and we've been on panels together discussing different ways to run markets. And they also, a couple times a year, will have a rural farmers market manager get together. So they had one a couple months ago. So it was great to talk to some new farmers market managers, hear best practices from folks, share ideas.
You talked earlier about the amount of food that we actually have to import. Uh, what, in terms of the vendors here, are they all from Wasco County, Clickitat County, Sherman, or how does that work?
Most of yeah, we have the radius, they need to be within 150 miles of the Dalles. We expanded that a little a few years ago. It used to be 100 miles, but I think our farthest vendor are the berry people that they come from Wallala.
Ah, okay.
Okay. But, Sandoz Farm is, less than 5 miles down the road. The folks that do the Miracle Acres that do the fabulous sourdough bread, they come just from like Appleton area. And let me use this opportunity to show, farmers markets are a small business incubator. And I just mentioned Miracle Acres. They started out with a very small table, no tent and that. Then they, started people wanting it throughout the season and throughout the day. So they would make a stop in the Goodwill parking lot. Kimberly kind of joked, I felt like a drug dealer in there. So she actually found a shirt that said, I'm your local sourdough dealer. But last year they got into Dickey Farms.
Hmm.
So they are selling their product there. So, I mean, that's huge. From just a few, they bought a commercial oven. They used to just do it that. And, a lot of our products with people being there, like I did not know this. I knew sourdough bread was good. But there are certain components about sourdough bread that people that might have trouble eating other wheat products can eat sourdough because it doesn't have the yeast. And there's like, and I'll probably get this wrong, but like a 96-hour fermentation product and 82, and they can tell you the difference between those two. And they also sell duck eggs, which I didn't learn, and I knew they were fabulous for baking. But we have folks that are allergic to chicken eggs, so they are specifically looking for duck eggs or goose eggs or turkey eggs. So I didn't know you would, I would think, oh, you'd be allergic to eggs, you know.
I did not know any of that.
Yeah.
Phil, you have a question.
I'd like to just tell a story. And Eileen, be real aware that I'm not trying to criticize or propose an alternative, but think just tell a story, and then I kind of why I'm telling the story. When I lived in Venezuela, we would shop at a cooperative, and so the cooperative, think food bank, but you pay just a little bit for it. And so, and result, there was limited supply. We had two types. The biggest variety was coffee. We had three kinds of coffee, two types of toilet paper, a single ply or double ply, only one type of cereal. And so it was, but it was, the idea was really to serve poor people. We were in a third world poverty. And for vegetables, the interesting thing we did, we would get a gunny sack and go through and pick out the vegetables and put them all in our gunny sack and then pay by pound for an average of the whole bag. There was all the vegetables was one price. Sometimes there would be specialty prices for parchitas, which is passion fruit and things like that. Now, I'm telling the story here, so that would attract lots of people. It was open just 2 times a day. And then surrounding the cooperative building, a vendor's market would always show up, and the same people would be showing up selling things similar to the farmer's market, but also everything from hardware to lingerie. And it was the kind of, here's one business attracted another business. I'll just roll this back to thinking, what's the interesting relation is there between our food bank and the farmers market? They go in different directions, I would guess, because they have different purposes.
Well, we do. I'm sorry, Phil, are you done? Okay, yeah. Well, actually, one of the grants we got this year was from the food bank, and I spoke with Breen there because she asked, like, what might you need? And I was able to say, one thing we often need money for is printing to help get the word out. So she made sure in the grant she wrote that we could use some of that for printing. The food bank refers us a lot. We get our flyers out there to folks. And if anybody would like flyers, let me know. We just got them printed. And it also has our information on it that we accept SNAP, have Power of Produce, and that as well. And before I forget, you reminded me, Phil, one of our new vendors is a coffee vendor. We lost our coffee vendor last season, but we have a brand new one local here in town. So.
And I think the flyer is on the in the chat box as well.
Yeah. And it's in English and Spanish, double-sided too.
Very good. Very good. All right, Roger, you have your hand up, sir.
One more quickie, and that is, Eileen, is there any kind of thing you wish you don't have at the market you wish would be there, and we can help maybe find it for you?
We never seem to have enough carrots. And one thing that I would love to see is maybe a little more fall produce. A few years ago, we had a gentleman that would come at the end of the season with these fabulous apples. I would love to see persimmons. I know, but the one time we had someone who had persimmons, they didn't get ripe until the 3rd week of October, but I would love to see persimmons. We used to have someone who donated figs, and I'm partial to figs. My first house in Southern California had an ancient fig tree, and that would be great. And those are actually very popular with a lot of people because they're hard to get here, even in a supermarket. So that would be something. Unusual produce, just people learning about different things. Some of the grapes that we get at the market, you could never get at a supermarket because they wouldn't travel well. Their skins are too thin. But gosh, I'd rather have it than a Snickers bar,
Just one quick suggestion. The folks at Shannon's Ice Cream make a pawpaw ice cream that they source locally. They may have a contact that might be really interested in that as well.
Oh, yeah, I would love to have ice cream at the farmer's market. I'm all about healthy food, but life has to be a balance. So.
Roger, when does the Real Life Story come out?
Be on June 1st, right around the 1st of the month. Yeah, it's just in time to promote all the start of the market.
And the market starts on June 6th?
That's correct.
Continues through October 10th. Did I have those dates right?
You do.
All right. Eileen, we're coming down to the top of the hour. Closing remarks. Any further questions for Eileen?
Well, I'll say thank you. If you're a nonprofit and haven't contacted me about having a booth this season, I've got some spaces open. June is filled up at this point, though, so we'd love to
Okay.
have you.
So reach out, folks, reach out.
Yeah, shop local, shop fresh.
That's great. All right, everyone. Our guest this morning, Eileen White with the Dalles Farmers Market. City Park, June 6th opening. Eileen, Saturdays, right? What days?
Saturdays, yeah,
Okay.
9 to 1.
9 to 1. Saturdays, 9 to 1, June 6th through October 10th, the Dalles Farmers Market. All right, everyone. I think with that, I'll give you 2 minutes of your day back. Enjoy the rest of the week. Have a wonderful weekend. And we will see you next Thursday.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.